I think there's so much wisdom that you get from mission training. There's so much wisdom and guidance and just spiritual change and spiritual formation for yourself, like personal growth, personal sanctification, and ministry first starts with you. You cannot go out if you're not sorted with God.
Welcome everyone, welcome to the All Nations podcast. My name is Nemo. I'm here today with my friend Mia, all the way from Madagascar, and my friend Amy from Hong Kong. I'm from Argentina, so the global south is in the house.
Yes.
So my face, it might be new for you, but I'm actually always behind
He's
the
the
camera.
one behind the camera. Yeah. That is like honestly the best guy.
The guy. So today, we have no Felipe, no Chill, and no Paul. So the backup plan is me.
No, the best plan.
Here we are. So girls, so good.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I feel so welcome.
And this is Amy's first podcast.
Yes. Very first podcast, Amy. Welcome to the podcast.
I made it here.
You made it. You made it all the way to the podcast. So so cool. We are all students.
Yeah.
So we are currently doing our BA here at All Nations.
Yeah.
And girls.
And we're all level 5 as well.
We are all level 5, which is the second year for all those who are not very familiar with All Nations. And we all love God. And I hope now we do. We do. And we love mission and culture.
Yes.
So girls, today is going to be a very special episode. I really want us to talk about, the impact and the importance of mission training. I know that sounds like, very fancy and posh. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I really want to talk about, how, being here at All Nations somehow impacted in our development.
Yeah.
Not only in our spiritual life, but also in our academic life and further in our missionary life after being here. But also when it comes to learning and training, it's not always here in a very academic setting. I think we start learning from different experiences in life. Even when God brought us all the way here, we started learning.
Yeah, we already started learning from
Didn't we? So let's talk about that first. Let's see how you girls ended up here. What brought you here? And we want to hear all about that. We're going to start with Amy because she's the first one.
Yeah, thank you. The whole journey of how I actually started to know about All Nation, it was back in 10 years ago. And
10
it was
years
in Hong
ago?
Kong. Yes. In Hong Kong, in the Christian community, All Nations is very popular. Whenever we got to talk about mission training, All Nations. Like, if you can afford it, All Nations. And because it's already in our minds. Yeah. And the only thing that actually brought me to decide to be here is actually the 1-year experience that I got to be in Thailand. And that basically tell me that what I need to learn before I go back to mission. I have I have a little glimpse. So 1 year is totally not enough for me to experience everything. I had a little glimpse of mission. What does it look like? And then it makes me wonder, I really need a full-time training on this. Yeah. And plus, a full-time training is actually speeding up everything as well. It helps. Yeah, and it actually does. Yeah.
Can I go back to what you just mentioned? Because you mentioned a year in Thailand.
Yes.
Can we go back all the way where you felt, I do want to do missions, or I do want to do something else with my life? When was it for you? How was it for you? I mean, it doesn't have to be like a massive experience like some people have. But how was it for you? Like when? Yeah.
How did you know? Yeah.
When did I?
God is calling me to do mission, so this is what I want to do.
Yeah, there is a very special timing, but I did not realize until I was here. It was when I was in high school. I had a day that let me experience. It's like called 1 day to experience as a missionary. So in 1 day, 8 hours, I got to learn a new language, some new etiquette to be in a cross-cultural setting, and then going through artificial immigration, and I got arrested because I was too bold to tell people that, hey, I'm here for mission. And that was the experience. And then I thought, being a missionary is really hard, but it looks like this is how God calls people to do that. And I want to be part of this. I want to contribute that. And it looks really hard when I got arrested at the immigration. but I've been start praying about that, and is that what God is wanting me to do? But of course, that was back in high school, so I had no idea. I had no idea that this was the seed that it planted in. But now it actually grew. Yeah.
And it's very fruit. How cool is that? Sometimes when we work in, it might be off topic, but look at the impact of these things in like a high school or working with teenagers. You know, you can, as you said, plant a seed and it can bear fruit. And look at you, from that experience, you're not being trained and eventually gonna go to the mission field. And how many lives gonna be impacted by that simple activity?
Exactly.
So that's so cool.
That is so cool.
It's great.
How was it for you? When was like that key moment in your life you felt, you know what, I'm gonna be a missionary?
I had a hard time with that word because like I never would think that I would be one. Like even until now I have a hard time like using that as my identity. Like I'm a missionary. I think I'm more of a servant of the Lord, if I have
there
to
you are.
Yeah.
You are.
Missionary.
But
me the servant
of Jesus Christ. But I think because I grew up in so many different places, I was always exposed to cross-cultural. Like I was always exposed to different cultures, exposed to different backgrounds and worldviews. And so I was used to having those people around me, and that became my normal. Like when I entered the church, my church is an international church, back in France. And so they were also multicultural people, and in being with all of those different people, I realized that I had the capacity to adapt to different cultures very easily.
Oh, wow.
Whether I moved, whether I was with people, whether I was with the global south, the global north, Asians, Latin Americans, it was so easy for me, and it was so natural for me to serve with those people and just to be with those people, even before I became a Christian. Like I grew up that way. And so, but then when I started serving the Lord with a multicultural like community, I realized like, wow, I could actually use this for the Lord and even go big with God. And I think the more I got to know God and what his commandment to us was, like understanding the Great Commission, I was like, wow, I actually would love to take that step, Lord, and go to all nations and know you, to make you known to all nations, like not just stop at where I was, like not just the church, not just the little communities that I had, but actually like our global outreach. And I think that's how it started. Like God already has put me in different situations where I was exposed to multicultural communities. And so it was easy for me to say, actually, I really want to do this long term, my whole life.
You know, I love that you just mentioned, because it's so true. Sometimes when we are into, you know, trying to discover our calling or what God wants us to do, he started working in our life, and
way before
exactly. So whenever I remember having a conversation with a CEO when I was serving on board the Lord's Hope, I remember I asked him, how do I know what the Lord wants me to do in the future? And he said something like, in order to see what God wants you to do in the future, you need to look back and to see what he has been doing.
Yes. That's so good.
You dropped the mic. But I'm going to be honest with you, because actually I remember having that conversation. You didn't answer my question. I need you to tell me what. Exactly. And he was so right. Because now that I'm here and I look back, everything in my life was leading me towards this exact moment, you know? For me, my missionary calling, or, you know, like, whatever we call it today, but I didn't want to be a missionary at all. You know, I never felt comfortable with the term. And I ever saw me as, you know, because whenever you think as a missionary, you see about that, you know, explorer that goes to, you know, somewhere and to, you know, I don't know, in my mind it was someone that is, you know, like in the jungle chopping. Exactly. And I'm not like that.
No, you're not.
I cannot. No, I'm just
not.
And I remember when what happened to me in a very short version, my pastor said, hey, do you want to be a youth leader? And I said no. Because who wants to be a youth leader? I mean, who want to deal with a bunch of teenagers? And I said, no. And then I said, you know what? I prayed about it. And I say, yes, let's go for it. But it was crazy because from that experience, working with teenagers and journey with them, I discovered my passion for the local church and how a church can impact people, you know? And I always say, not every opportunity look golden at the very beginning. As me, for example, wanted to be a youth leader. I didn't want to. But that was a moment that the Lord helped me. Not helped me, but he taught me. And he had somehow revealed this passion in my heart for the local church. At the same, when he took me to the ship, again, I didn't really want to go to the ship, but in obedience, that's going to be for another episode. But I ended up on board, serving on board the ship, thinking, what am I doing here? But in obedience, you know, okay, I'm going to be here. And I remember being on board and listening repeatedly and constantly about the least rich people. There are more than 3 billion people that have never heard about Jesus. And I was, okay, but what can I do with that? And I remember that message didn't resonate in my heart at all. And I prayed during my first year, God, I really want this message means something for me. Because that's what happens. Sometimes we hear that, and that it doesn't really mean anything for us. And I remember that during that time, I was in Libya, and I remember being in first contact with what we call least rich people, or people that have never heard about Jesus. And I realized that 3 billion people wasn't just a number. It is a person, and I put a face on that person and a story and a name. So for me, that was transformative. That's how I ended up. You know what? I didn't really want to be a missionary, but I understand this is what we have to do. This is, you know,
it's out of a heart for God and a heart for people.
Exactly. And even coming back to my church, I was, you know, worshiping in my 2,000 people church, you know, with a massive, great worship team. And I was worshiping there. But in my mind, I was thinking about the people that I met in Libya. I was, God, I can worship you because I know you by name. But there are 3 billion people, for real, that they cannot. They don't know who you are. You know, they are crying out for help and for hope, but they cannot because they don't know you. So that was a very pivotal moment in my life. But I think one of the first lessons when it comes to training or, you know, impact was the Lord is teaching us things that probably we don't really understand. But when we look back, we see,
that's
you were right.
We all have those moments in our lives. Like, it happens and then we're like, oh, that's why. But so what convinced you to, okay, I actually need training then? Like, out of that heart for mission, how were you convinced? How did you get from that step of, I want to be a missionary, and now let's go to
I think for me it was after being 3 years on board, so I got to experience quite a lot, and I got exposed to many different cultures. I started in South America, in Brazil, and then we sailed all the way to the Caribbean, which my first year was mobilizing the church and visiting many churches. And it was actually quite a really cool experience because I got to see how diverse is the body of Christ and how diverse is, you know, the church. And I love that, you know. And I understand that, we all have different ways of doing things, but at the end of the day, we are from the same body. So for me, and then we went all the way to Africa and then Europe, and I visited many countries. But for me, was after being on board and being exposed and kind of gaining a lot of experience, I realized I need to give like a proper academic frame to this experience. Because for me, back then it was, okay, I have this experience, but I don't know what to do with this. I don't know how. I need further training in order to share this with other people. Because I can share stories, but it's my personal story, you know? How do I share this in a way that actually equip people? So that's my heart, you know? I want to, when I live in mission, I want to equip and inspire other people to do so. I always say, we can go and mobilize people, but if you don't give them the tool to go or to be a missionary wherever they are, how is they going to do it, you know? And for me, thinking, this is important. I live this, but how can I equip and inspire other people? And I give them, look, go to the nations, but take this, because you're going to need this. And that's what happened to me. That's how I feel I really need to get it. To,
Discipleship and multiplication.
Yeah.
Disciples making disciples.
And that I just felt that that's the whole point of being here. Like no matter which college we are in, but of course being in All Nations, this is the whole point of like putting all those pieces together.
Yeah.
And we got the time to pause from all those hands-on work that we used to do, but then putting all the experience together, how can we make use of these? And then to make sense of us to be, as what you said, you have a stronger calling at the moment for mobilizing. Maybe for myself, I have a stronger calling for service and for people in marginalized in the society. So it's like when we got to put the pieces together and we got to realize how amazing it is when God got to call us, even we're in different personality. And
that's the beauty of the body of Christ.
and we're not necessarily have to understand that being a servant of God, being a missionary, there has to be a leader. There has to be the people who are standing in front of the church. Working behind the scene is part of the calling. Working that in somewhere that people don't necessarily know what we're doing is part of that.
So good.
So it's how amazing it is. And we're in the community and seeing people's in different stories. And
What convinced you to come to All Nations and get training?
that very last point of making me to click on the application button was that I got to receive some essays from some former students that I met in Thailand that now currently they are serving in Thailand. And then they heard that I want to be part of the full-time training in missions, and they said, hey, this is my essay in anthropology. And they
oh wow.
and that was amazing because I got to know what exactly it is that I got to learn and got to ponder about things that from my own experience here at the college. When I got to put words together, this is what it would look like. And that was just the point that I thought, I need this.
Wow. And anthropology is like one of the biggest things
And the heaviest.
the heaviest and the richest module we might have here. Like you actually go into the depths of culture, the depths of the different religions, the depths of worldviews, and it challenges you, it challenges like your worldview, and that's the spiritual formation for yourself and for ministry. And wow, that's
Cool.
so good. That's so cool.
What about you? What was the key moment that made you think, okay, I need training. I need to come to All Nations?
My whole faith journey actually involved people who helped me discern. And that's my family, my home church in Nantes. Shout out to them. But it was also because I didn't grow up in a Christian home. I shared this a little bit in the other episode, so you can watch that too. But I didn't grow up in a Christian home. But then when I had this heart for God and for his mission and for global outreach, there was this discernment in me that realized that I because I wasn't exposed to biblical theology, I didn't grow up in a Christian home. Like I didn't even know the basics of the gospel. Like I knew that I wouldn't be able to pass on that powerful message in another country in an appropriate way, in a way that they would receive it in their heart God language, you know what I mean. But so I was convinced at that I wasn't exposed to biblical theology. So I knew I needed to learn first. I needed to start by learning. And also because a lot of people think that, no, because I have this revelation from God and I have to go and they use that as I'm enough, like that's enough to go. Like a lot of people use that as enough conviction to just go out into mission, and God uses that. But I think there's so much wisdom that you get from mission training. There's so much wisdom and guidance and just spiritual change and spiritual formation for yourself, like personal growth, personal sanctification, and ministry first starts with you. Like you cannot go out if you're not sorted with God and if you haven't understood what mission is for you and how it's impacted you. And I think that's where my heart came from. Like I didn't know anything about mission. I didn't know anything about the depths of theology, the study of God, because I thirsted to know God more. And I think that's how I also ended up here. I don't really care where I'm going. I just know that I want to know God, and He will tell me where to go.
Exactly. Wow.
And wherever that's going to be, glory to God. I know where I'm going to go, but like I think that's the main purpose of why we first go to mission training, is to know God and make Him known after that. But yeah,
Man.
yeah.
And if we could all try to find one key lesson we learned while being at All Nation, what would it be? What would you share if you can share one thing?
Wow.
One thing that I learned. Because I think the mission training is, as I always say, it's more than just being seated in a classroom and listening. Because that's the good thing about what we have here. We don't only simply listen to a lecture. We discuss to each other, and from my side, that's something that I love about the mission training, on the training here. Because you get to listen to the tutor or professor or the speaker, whoever is sharing that day. But something, at least from my perspective, is like I get to learn quite a lot by listening to others and by discussing with others people. Because we are always, not arguing, but we are debating, we are sharing perspective, and we are sharing. And that's so insightful, because for me, it's like, oh, wow. We are all so different. We all believe in the same God. We all believe in this. Yeah. However, we all have some different backgrounds, as you said, different worldview, and we all share. And I love that. For me, it's it's not because it's different, it's wrong, and not because that person do think differently, it's wrong. Or because it's different to you. And I love that. Learning from my classmate and having we're going to call it holy arguments, because sometimes it can be a bit heated, but it's good. I love that, because we can get to learn from each other, and sometimes acknowledge that, you're right. I'm not right. My point is not good.
You change.
I love that. I think it's, at least for me, being here helped me to learn to listen to others, but also to be able to share my own convictions and my own perspective. In a way that builds other people up. But also,
I really relate to that. I think this is not my point, but I just want to bounce back on that. Like, if you're not willing to be challenged, or if you're not willing to be changed and transformed, not in your convictions or changed who you are, but just the different worldviews that there's actually so much more than what you might have, and so much beauty in the different worldviews of other people that you might have never caught. And I think just the willingness to be challenged, that's such a you need to be ready to be challenged when you come here at college.
The humility.
I'm still thinking of my point, but maybe you have one already.
I think, yes, the humility of the point being in the intercultural setting, but for me it's stronger when I got to be exposed to interdenomination, the culture of different denominations, and that actually reshaped me a lot. It made me understand again of how people worship, how people come to God, and what are the spiritual needs in different people groups. So that would be bringing me to understand more of people from different denominations, because I think before I came, I have quite a narrow worldview, and not just being from Hong Kong, but then also because I'm a Baptist, I just felt that it's totally normal just being a Baptist and don't need to actually expose to too many. And because I just believe that, okay, we believe in the same God anyways. But no, it's so much more than that, because denominations, churches, every single bit of it has its own culture. And this is also how they came from and how they encounter God differently. And when I got to see myself that I need to learn that, and it actually made me realize that it's very useful when I got to be in a place to serve where they have very animistic worldview. So that is a very strong spiritual warfare. But if I don't see it as a matter, I may actually ignore it. But spiritual warfare is a big thing. So when I got exposed to people from different church background, that helped me a lot.
Yeah, same. I think that is the richness, as you mentioned, the richness of like a mission training specifically, because it doesn't only help you to learn how to deal with other people from different like a denomination or backgrounds. It's also help you to how to, as you said, how to serve people effectively in a different culture. You know, I love that because you get exposed not only to, because eventually the mission field, you're not going to be with people, I mean, eventually, with people from your same country, same culture. You're going to be working within a multicultural team.
We're always going to be exposed to different cultures.
So we need to learn how to navigate the difference, how you know, and again, how to serve our people in an effective way. You know, I think that is that's key in mission training. It not only affect or help you to serve others, but also how to teamwork with other people.
Oh man, you learn how to teamwork here at All Nations in so many, like even in wash-ups, even in doing chores, like all of those things. And those are so essential. Like in everything that happens here at college life is part of the training. And I hope that we know this, and I hope that the students at All Nations know this, that nothing is wasted. Like really, God uses this place to train us. It's already part of the training. But I just wanted to mention one thing that I really learned here at All Nations, and I want to focus more on the academic side. Like I was always so scared of the going to college, like high education, especially in the UK where there's like Oxford and Cambridge and all of those, like, oh wow, I could never, oh no, I'm not a great reader. Like I read very basic stuff, but then actually, what I loved here is that people are so intentional in wanting you to succeed, in wanting you to actually grow academically and in wisdom again and in knowledge, just giving you the tools to know how to research well and know how to read your books. And I think that's something that I really loved here, that there's always different ways to expand your knowledge and expand, not stay one-minded on certain aspects, but there's so many books that you can read about different missions, intercultural missions, global North missions and global South missions and all of that. And I think I really appreciated that allowed me to, it gave me confidence in, I can actually now research. And,
actually adding to what you said, I have a really good story. I mean, I don't know if I call it story, but I remember back then, before coming as a student and visited some friends here at All Nations, I got to share like a meal. And I remember my first impression when I went to the dining room where everyone was eating. I saw students and people that I suppose were the tutors or professor, and I thought, oh wow, look at them having really important and academic discussion. They look so smart, and I was this place is definitely not for me, because I'm a creative, I'm an artsy person. I love create, I design, I don't write essays, I'm not an academic. And the good thing about the mission training is that it's for everyone, no matter what is your background. And the funny part of the story is I ended up here, and I'm on my second year, and I got for my third year,
passed.
and I passed.
More than that.
Exactly. So that is important, to mention mission training. Either like a higher education like here or any kind of mission training, it's for everyone. And that's a good thing about being here at All Nations. Not because we are promoting All Nations, we're not trying to do that. But as you said, people here journey with you.
They help you do it.
And it's
it's something you can learn actually how to do, like in being here. It's not, there's no pressure to it. Like it's,
I really like when you say it's full of intention, because it's not just academic side, but our trainings are very practical, and it allow us to.
Get hard.
Yes, it's basically like it's spiritual growth, knowledge growth, and also skills growth. And I really like how the college provides us to have a full academic year of placement. In a very practical way. Which I feel pretty privileged, because I was working out of a church setting, which I'm actually having my placement here. And this term, we got to learn that our intention to be a blessing for the community, which is our nation's community. So at the end, our very last practical ministry activity is to host a meal for our family. So I actually brought it up when you're saying like hosting a meal and something. And yeah, and it actually brought me back to last week. It's actually we just cook something and then host a family to join in. 2.5 hours of conversation, and then we just got full on our intention of like we just don't want to just share the food, but it's the conversation. We got time to pray for each other, and especially like this kind of intention is actually not just a one go thing, but it made us realize small little things can be a blessing, and all we need is the intention for that. It's so beautiful.
So for me, another key lesson that I learned while being here, and I always having one of my tutors, professor, shout out to Mark, he's in the first episode. Whenever I'm frustrated about any assignment or anything about my academic life, he is always say, well, but don't forget that you are learning. And that's it's simple.
It's so simple.
But don't forget you are learning. And that's the whole point. We do this. No, we don't do that. We're not here because we already know. For everyone that is listening, it's not like you go to like a college or you do like a Bible college because you already know.
Exactly.
You're doing it because you want to learn, and that's the whole point of
because you're here to learn.
Is you don't need to be an experienced missionary to get mission training. The idea is for you to learn. And for me that was key. And I think it's a mindset that I want to keep in my life. Hey, don't forget that you are learning. I will never stop learning. And somehow. And another friend said because I remember my first term here. I was exposed to different things, and I want to learn everything. I want to know everything, I want to know everything about Old Testament, about New Testament, about this and that, historical context and cultures and religion. But then I realized that I'm just a simple human being, and I couldn't, remember every single thing that I was listening to. And one of my friends said, well, don't forget that this time or this season in your life is for you to be exposed to many things. To many, the different theologies and doctrines, to the different cultures. So don't worry if you don't really remember everything. But the most important thing is to be exposed and have this learning attitude on life that, well, I don't know everything.
So good.
And I can continue learning.
And that's something that God also does, like, he exposes you to so many things, and then at the right time he uses the right things that you listen to. You're like, oh, so that's why I listened to that in class, like at All Nations, in the future, like it then comes back to you. And I think that's also God's purpose. Like, it's okay, just be open and receive.
So I think we have such a great conversation. So in order just to land this plane, what would you say to someone out there that is maybe considering doing mission training, either going to Bible college or coming to the nations, or even thinking about doing a mission trip or short-term mission trip, or considering, or maybe that person out there is feeling something from God, as we all felt once, but don't know what to do. So what would you say?
Ooh,
wow.
Give me a minute.
I may need a second for that. But the first thing that comes to my mind is to keep open. To keep open for any kind of exploration, any kind of opportunities. I think it's God will always do tiny but powerful things. Like sometimes he will be gently pushing us. But sometimes he will be like letting us to sit down and ponder and see what's actually happening. So be open to any opportunities that is like short-term visioning trip or a little bit of experience, and let those experiences sit in with you and see how it actually worked out, because every single piece, and even eventually you might not be receiving like full time or like investing 2-3 years for missional training, but like keep this in mind that training is part of the process of everything. Yeah.
Wow. I think for me, I would say, I mean, from my experiences, like God will not lead you. I mean, it might sound cliche, I know, but He will not lead you to a place that He's not going to be. And I love when that verse in Exodus that says, my presence will go with you and give you rest, peace. And I love that because for me, whenever I felt like God was calling me to do something like this, either to go to the ship back then or even to do mission training, higher education like here, I felt like the task was bigger than me. And that was my prayer. God, I cannot.
Yeah.
And He's not going to lead us to a place that He's not going to come. And at the end of the day, He will open doors. He will provide. Even, like financial challenges or even emotional challenges, He will provide. He will be there. He is steadfast. And I love that,
Yeah.
And again, together with what you said, probably not all the opportunities look golden at the beginning, but for sure, God is going to use that to develop something in your heart. And eventually, who knows?
Yeah.
And at the end, it's His mission. And we are just
Yeah.
collaborating, participating with Him.
Yeah, that's true. I think for me, I think it comes from a heart of love for God and love for His people and love for His word. The more you get to know God, the more He also puts those desires in your heart to want to participate into His mission. And sometimes it can be just in your local church, but sometimes it can also be global outreach, and sometimes it can be through training at college. And I think all of those are good things, but I think it first starts with your relationship with God and how much you want to know God. And then also just I think, as you said, just being open-minded to those opportunities where God's like, hey, if you do go, it's not going to be a bad decision. If you don't go, it's not going to be a bad decision either. Like, also be soft on yourself, like not put too much pressure, like, no, I have to do this and I have to go that. And if I want to do this, like, honestly, do it out of a heart where you want to serve the Lord with all your heart and do it well and do it effectively. And also to discover your gifts and talents. I think being at a missional Bible training college, I think it helps you discover all of the gifts and talents that you've already been able to bless the church with, but you just get more tools on how to use them in a more cross-cultural, here at least at All Nations, for a global mission, for global South, global North, and all of that. Just appropriate tools to use once you're out there, and use them well, and also not just use them for you, but pass them on to those who you're gonna minister with, and who you're gonna minister to, and who you're gonna serve with. And I think that's why I'm also here. It's to be able to pass on everything that I've been privileged to learn, because that's something that not everybody gets to have it, at least in Madagascar. Not everybody has the opportunity to come to the UK and study the Bible, your favorite book, and you get to study it 24/7. Like, that's just a huge blessing. So I think that perspective changes everything. Like, I actually want to do this for the growth of the church. And Paul says that, like, I want to do this for the growth that we may all be in worshiping God in unity. And I think.
Oh, wow, that was profound. That's a clip there. That is a clip. But it might sound. It is, as we said, following God and His voice and His calling upon our life, or even following His commandment of go and make disciples. It is costly. It is hard. It takes effort and decision and surrender your own desires and giving up many things in your life. But it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's it's costly. But it is so worth it.
I just wanted to add to that, like, especially being exposed to the world that we're in, we have to be realistic that it's not going well. And we're going to be, especially in the spiritual and religious sphere, like, we're exposed to so many different false teachings as well. And I think that's why it's so necessary to spend time in God's word and study it, so that we lead people to the right way as well. And that's our role as disciples of Jesus, to share His message and to bring the truth to people's lives. And yeah, I think that's also why I'm here, is to be able to not say the bad things and not like, not do things with my emotions, but do things with knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Truth.
Yeah, I've got like one last thing that I wanted to add is that like when we always talk about mission, it's always about acts and things that we gotta do.
Yeah.
And I just felt that, say in Micah 6:8, we always see that as a command for church, a calling for church. But like at the end, like, yes, we need to act in righteousness and then with compassion and with humility. But at the end of the phrase, it's actually do it with God. So maybe in your mind at the moment, if you're considering what is mission to us, for us, is God calling me to mission? Well, mission is actually for everyone, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the most important thing, yes, in Micah 6:8, there are so many things that we got to do. We got to be called to do. But then eventually, ultimately, it's with God. Yeah. So intentionally pondering that you're with God and God is in the journey with you.
Am I doing this with God?
Yes.
With God. Love that. I think we can finish with that.
With God.
With God. Everything. Mission work. In the marketplace, at home, as a student, whatever. With God.
With God.
Love that. Girls, what an episode. Thank you very much
Thank you for having us.
It was a good episode, wasn't it? Thank you very much for listening and for being here with us. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. And see you in the next episode.
See you.